How's it going, guys? My name is Alex.
Good evening.
And welcome to a video much requested. Even though I made a similar video before, I know there is a lot of new players and maybe my builds are different. There is literally 1 week left for you to retrain your players. I made a similar video on training players in general so that you understand my vision. I made a video with an OG of PES community, eFootball community, football universe. You can refer to that if you want to build your players properly. Although there is a few changes because the dribbling and pace are now important and defensive awareness is now important for your defenders to stop those runs of paces strikers like Shevchenko, wingers like Mitoma and Figo and other players that you have in your team. I will be showing you the guides of my players and also I'll be showing you the training builds of Sutoman, one of the best pro, I would say pro for sure, because he is top 50, top 100 on Japanese servers. On global rank as well. He's really high, he's up there. I like how he plays. So my builds and his builds are very similar, although I'll be showing the builds and the video of Sutoman, so you can check these ones yourself. I was translating his video from Japanese, so drop a like for my efforts. So let's talk about the goalkeepers. A lot of people are asking the build for Czech. Czech is a phenomenal goalkeeper, although he lets a few suspicious goals in, very sus. So this is the build. I gave him a 6 in physicality, and because I already trained his reflexes, reach and awareness to really good numbers, and when you add more progression points to his goalkeeping stats, you are not getting a lot. Increasing his physical abilities for 6 points, I thought it was much more rewarding and beneficial for a player like Petr Cech. So speaking of Declan Rice, who is one of my starting defenders, if not, he's a starting defensive midfielder. His player progression is a little bit different. I trained him, I improved his passing ability, so in case if I'm playing him as a defensive midfielder, he can still distribute the ball. I think he has a through passing skill because I added that on him, and if not, I'm gonna be doing that very soon. Defensive awareness is close to 90, it's gonna be 90 with the manager boost. We all know that having a good manager like Zeitler for quick counter, setting your playstyle to quick counter, when you go and check the player stats of Declan Rice, he's getting 82 on passing, for instance, and 90 for defensive awareness. So when I'm building my players, I also take this in consideration that I'm gonna be getting that boost from the manager. For the players like Shevchenko or Snyder, who are epic players, legendary epic players with the boost, I'm getting another additional +2 boost. So I also keep that in mind when I'm building and training my players. So this is the build for Declan Rice, very decent defensive abilities, and he's getting speed acceleration 75, 73. He's always there because of the defensive abilities. His physical contact is decent, and also it was important, of course, to give him additional skills, and I gave him those skills: blocker, heading, aerial superiority. So you always need to take care that all of these important defensive skills are on your players. Very good defensively, like these stats are fantastic. His position is great, and he's also, I boosted his speed and acceleration, and he's also a little bit faster than usual. You may notice that I gave him one goalkeeping stat. Why? Because it is not only a goalkeeping stat, it is also improving his jumping, because I was left with one point progression point that I couldn't really improve anything with that point because every other stat needed 2. So I improved his goalkeeping stat and got +1 to jumping. A nice trick introduced by Football Universe. So there's also Kunde is a build, very specific build for him being able to play a center back. You see, he has a defensive awareness 93, 95 for tackling, very nice, and he's pacey. He's great at jumping. I boosted his 2 goalkeeping stats, you can see that, to get his jumping to 90. I can maybe retraining him a little bit because I know with the manager boost I'm gonna be getting that 90 still. But 92 jump, I mean, come on, he's gonna be winning those headers. And I'm playing him as a right back just to get a little bit more solidity in my back line. This is Zinchenko card, outdated card. I would love to replace it with a better card of Zinchenko. And this is the build. He can run, he can dribble. I gave him a special double touch, I gave him montage pass, and I gave him man marking. He has interception as well. So this is a very solid stat. Acceleration 86, balance 87. He can play as a left midfielder, and I oftentimes in a different formation I use him as a left midfielder. Then speaking of Casemiro, this is a card that I was so happy that Konami gave me this card from their partner club pack, and this is my build. I actually tweaked it a little bit. I gave him better passing and I downgraded, sacrificed his pace for that, so his speed is only 70, acceleration 64. Many people will say, well, that's too slow. Well, you're playing him as a defensive midfielder, so you would want probably to play him in a 1 pivot point. I play him in 2 pivot points. I don't feel like I'm getting being put at disadvantage because of that, because of his low pace in a two pivot defensive midfielder formation, if you know what I'm talking about. But still, he works for me. If he doesn't work, I still have 7 days to retrain him for free. Then it will be costly. Then it costs you 200,000 GPs to retrain the player. Defense awareness 88 will be boosted to 90, and then you have a low pass, lofted pass, very nice. He can pass the ball. I'll begin him as through passing skill. Modric, you can't really train him. He's a player of the card. My training guide of Snyder would look like this. So I will be improving his passing and shooting to finishing. I will be boosting his finishing to 80. His dribbling is only 86. Many people will say, Alex, that's only 90 dribbling with the all boost. I would say that's more than enough for me, right? Because he's getting tight possession like plus, he's gonna be 101 in tight possession. Set piece taken curl is great as well, and he is quite pacey, 79, 83 for attacking midfielder. It's one of the gems and one of my favorite players, and why I trained his acceleration like that, because I'm gonna also getting his balance 90, and with the boost is gonna be getting like 92 or even 94 if the boost is if the epic card has booster like that. Okay, so we have Sheva. Sheva, if you auto allocate, you getting 102, and I'll be bashed. People will be saying, Alex, you trained your Sheva incorrectly. You can't even use your players, and I'm saying no, I'm training him so that I can actually use his dribbling abilities, because in this game meta is running from defenders. Finally you can run from your defenders. First touch and you just dash dribble, and sometimes with players like Sheva, he has great attacking awareness, he's gonna be boosted to like 94, 95, and you see his dribbling is improved. Now he can dribble, because when you're running with the ball, dribbling is important. His balance is also decent, 75. I did my best. I did my best with acceleration. I improved his acceleration a lot, and improving it even more would be costing me a lot of points. I would be butchering the card, but still, it's such a fantastic build. I don't want to change anything, and because it works great. And then we have Figo, and this is a special build of Figo because I improved his pace and dribbling, and it looks like this, and also maintaining good passing abilities. So I made sure that his acceleration is boosted, and I boosted it a little bit more than 90 because I needed his balance to be over 80, because with the boost you're gonna be getting 82 balance. I wanted his balance to be good, and that is how I'm actually scoring bangers with him. I'm scoring solo run goals with him. He is smooth as butter because of the improved balance, because as a base auto allocating, you don't really get the best of your figure, I think. And his passing abilities and improved lofted pass will be boosted to 88, which is more than enough to use your pinpoint crossing abilities and cross him. So special skills on my Lush figure would be looking like that. I trained him additional double touch, flip flop, and through passing and heel trick. Heel trick, very underrated special skill that allows you to pass using one-touch passing technique, or if your player doesn't have one-touch passing technique, use it to pass from weird angles and use it to finish as well from weird angles. I gave heel trick to Sheva as well. I gave long-range shooting and through passing to Snyder, just in case his long-range shooting is good enough and his passing is fantastic, but I just gave him the skills to make him God mode pretty much. Sheva has aerial superiority, heel trick, rising shot. He'll be getting either through passing or one-touch passing, and additionally double touch whenever I'm getting the skills from. How to get specific skills on the players? Check the pinned comment video. So for Mitoma, what I improved is his dribbling abilities, and I also boosted his acceleration to ensure that his balance is getting to at least 90 with the manager boost. And then taking into consideration manager boost, I also boosted his passing, so it's 82, low pass, lofted pass, not that good. I also gave him additional skills to ensure if there is a critical situation and I really need to cross with my Mitoma. What I do, I either perform a through ball or I perform a pinpoint, I cross. Sometimes I cross with Mitoma. Rarely do I cross with him. But sometimes, you know what, I see a free player and I know that I should cross. This is the perfect opportunity. And he has pinpoint crossing, low passing stats, but at least sometimes he can be scoring the goals. Long range curler as well, because curlers have become overpowered as well. So I use long range curler skill on Figo. I use it on my Snyder as well. Sometimes bangers are going in. You guys already seen that. Mitoma already scored outside of the box curler for me against Petr Cech, something that would never happen in eFootball 2023. So I'm really happy to have the skill on my Mitoma. This Isak, the only additional skill that he's lacking to become an overpowered card is Double Touch. He's my super sub of choice. I oftentimes introduce him in the second half. This is how his build is looking. I'm gonna be reviewing my subs and my starting 11, and then I'm gonna be showing you the builds of Suter because he's using a lot of overpowered and meta players. You might be interested in that. So this is the build. He has great offensive awareness, decent dribbling, and decent acceleration and speed as well, and a little bit of additional physical contact because he's tall. I want him to score headers, and that's why I gave him header skill. Then Mbappe, he is my super sub as well. This is not the best card of Mbappe, but it does the trick for me. Super sub heading, outside curlers through passing. Guess what is gonna be the fifth card? The fifth skill, sorry, is probably gonna be aerial superiority or maybe something else. We'll see. So this is how his build is looking. And maybe retrain him, downgrading a little bit of acceleration and improving his speed. I will be doing that very soon, for sure. Then we have Cristiano Ronaldo. This is how his training guide is looking. This is legendary Cristiano Ronaldo. Not every player has him, I know. So there you go. This quick guide, decent balanced card. And this is the additional skills that I have on my Cristiano Ronaldo. I gave him special double touch because why not? And some other skills like one-touch passing and fighting spirit. Fighting spirit allows you probably to win more 1v1 battles. I mean, you can read the description. Mudryk is a pace merchant for me and a super sub by default. I didn't train that on him. He has additional skills trained like through passing, like chop turn, or I think I gave him flip-flop as well, or soul control to ensure that he performs special double touch. Very pacey, great dribbling, fantastic card as a super sub, does the damage for me, and obviously against my opponents. Kvaratskhelia, I gave him a super sub skill as well. I gave him through passing skill, and the build is looking very saucy. So depending on who has better condition arrow when I'm playing the game, I'm introducing that player in the second half, and with the additional boost of a super sub, these are, I assume these are stacked, or you're getting an offensive awareness boost with the super sub skill. Nobody knows that for sure. A lot of people have assumptions about how it works. So I mean, I just use super subs in the second half, or during the break I make all my changes. This is my Bernardo Silva build with the manager boost. You're getting all the dribbling stats and all the passing, important passing stats, pretty much all the passing stats in 90s. I improved for my build. You see, I didn't allocate points. I'm not getting his highest overall, but I'm getting his finishing to 80, and I like to finish with Bernardo Silva from outside of the box. His fantastic acceleration boosted to 80 just to ensure that balance is going to 88. And then and obviously speaking of additional skills that I gave him, these are the skills: rising shot, weighted pass. He was missing that. Double touch, fighting spirit, soul control. The only skill really he's missing is one touch passing. But I mean, there are some sacrifices you should make. I have two player do cards. Chomeny looking like that. This is his card. Additional skills, I've given him blocker, man marking, heading. Absolutely a beast. My favorite box-to-box midfielder, and the player progression is looking like that. So I improved his passing a slight little bit, and I improved his dribbling to just ensure that he can trap the ball. For defensive midfielders, I really need that. And then his defensive abilities are great. He's a monster in the midfield. He's really pacey too for a defensive midfielder. And then Gundo, you can't really train anything on him. This Alphonso Davies, I was slandering Alphonso Davies not because he's a bad player in real life, just because how Konami gave him such bad stats. But apparently these stats somehow work for him. This is how I trained. I gave him a lot of passing progression points, but it's still, even these points are more than enough. And I improved his defensive abilities a little bit, and his speed acceleration is 90-90. I really like this number, so that's how I trained him. And finally, Cancelo. There's definitely a player doing Cancelo currently available. There are different versions of Cancelo, like featured Cancelo. I mean, I didn't get this. I used the base card from Man City as well, just so that I can use him in events. And then you get this progression system for Cancelo. A little bit boosted defense, I think, and also his speed acceleration are more than enough for me to run away from players and use double touch if you want to beat people 1v1. So this is my team. Now let's go into the review of the players that Suterman has trained. So there you go. As you can see, Suter is himself Japanese pro. It's not like Alex, you don't know what you're doing. He himself is training Pavard to be 93 overall, not 94, because without allocating you get 94. Nobody cares about overall when you talk about people who really know how to play this game. His defensive awareness is boosted here. Why? Because, like, let me pull it down so you can see the training build. Actually, I'll go to this side, okay? So this is how the training build looks for Pavard. Very nice defensive stats. This is the player that you don't really pass with, you don't really run forward. He's not joining the attack because He is defensive right back. So speaking of Wan-Bissaka, this is how his build is looking. Wan-Bissaka is overpowered, but I just don't like him in terms of like positioning. Defensive awareness is bad. I know that he doesn't have aerial superiority and heading, and I need to add this on him, and I can't be asked because I have better defenders, and I don't really rate defenders that I need to add additional skills, a lot of skills, right? So this is the build for Rodri, a fantastic player, and this is an exclusive card of Rodri, but so that I understand what you would want to have from your defensive midfielder, holding, anchorman, really good passing and good defensive abilities. So this is his build of Pirlo, I mean, I wish I had Pirlo. Look at the stats. I mean, come on, what is this card? It's just like it's unfair. It's like a phenomenal card. Great passing. Fantastic defensive stats for a player like him. He's an orchestrator. There's not a lot of cards like this. And also it's under a Pirlo. Having Pirlo in your team is just like, I'm so fixated on having Pirlo in my team myself after seeing these stats. It's just like, it's delicious. It's just phenomenal. So then we speak about another type of defensive midfielder, a little bit more proactive. I think he's an orchestrator, but he plays like a box-to-box, I assume, because of his pace and his great defensive abilities. He's really short, that's why I didn't sign him. I like my defensive midfielders to be tall to win all the headers, and it's still, when I play against him, it's just like he's a nuisance in the middle of the park. I don't really hoof the ball a lot. He's my goalkeeper, so if I were, I would be winning the headers against him, but when I'm playing short passes, it's just like it's really difficult to get past Lobotka, and this is the build of Suter. And then there's Andres Iniesta, a center midfielder, very popular player. Obviously, not a lot of people have got his epic card. Maybe there'll be another epic card, just so that you know that this card exists. And look at this beautiful passing stats, and his other stats are great. Like balance is phenomenal, dribbling, like this is my Modric, but like on steroids. It's even better card than my Modric. Then you have Kaoru Mitoma. I have a similar card of Mitoma, and interestingly, I have a similar build. Although I improved my Mitoma's passing a little bit, and finishing, I'm alright with 78 finishing. So I just like use this card to compare and use both builds. Use my build, use Suter's build. If you have Mitoma, Mitoma is one of my favorite cards in this game. There is Neymar. I think some people bought Neymar from Brazil pack, or they have a different Neymar. Although like it's important to notice that this Neymar, he has better speed than all of the Neymars that, I mean, apart from maybe other few premium cards of Neymar. This Neymar is built different, so that's why this build is only fair for this card of Neymar. Then we have Kaká. If someone got Kaká, this is how the build will be looking. Great dribbling, decent finishing, and great acceleration. I think there's a lot of cards of this type, and like, well, playing him as an attacking midfielder is gonna be unique because he has such great numbers in speed acceleration. Gullit, a universal player, and I really wanted to see this build because if I were to get Gullit, I wouldn't really know what I should be training. So many great stats, all of the stats are in green, but should you be boosting some stats into blue zone? Well, with the manager boost, you're gonna be getting a lot of the stats in blue zone. Then I have Kylian Mbappe. I don't have this card. I was wondering what is the build of his card. He has a big time card as well, by the way. But we were watching at the short time card, and interestingly, he's not really boosting his finishing. He's getting his acceleration and speed into 96 and 93. He's really playing on these cards really good pace abilities, and he's improving that to the max pretty much, and he's gonna be getting +2 boost as well. So this card is gonna be deadly, like great dribbling, great passing, great pace, decent passing as well, and he has the skills and he has decent finishing 86. It's just like an end game card. And then Holland, yeah, that's a unique build of Holland. I really didn't think that it would be working. Apparently for him it's working. I didn't use this Holland card, that's why I'm looking at it. And he is improving his dribbling, drastically improving his dribbling. And what he's sacrificing is his speed, and he's also sacrificing all of the shooting stats that would be improved if you were to auto-allocate points. And then Marcus Rashford, I really wanted this card. I don't really want his card now anymore when I have my Sheva, but this is how the build will be looking for Marcus Rashford. And now Karl-Heinz Rummenigge, and I was expecting actually better stats for Karl-Heinz Rummenigge, and now I see that my Sheva is like, it's not even a debate. Sheva is much better card this guy Karl-Heinz than King Kalle according to the stats. Obviously, when there's gonna be a boosted epic card of Karl-Heinz Rummenigge, they will probably be introducing something else here. And Leo Messi, this is how the build for the free Leo Messi will be looking like. And there is also a build for Del Piero. A lot of people pulled him from the epic cards, free epic cards that Konami was given. This is the Son build, how it will be looking. Actually very interesting how he's also banking on his great speed and acceleration abilities and disregarding his passing and maybe not really boosting his finishing to like 90. 85 finishing is more than enough. That's what I was also talking about. If you see like something that can be really improved like that, like speed and acceleration, maybe it is worth to play on that and try this card out. Hope this training guide was useful. You guys requested a lot of this, and I was like, I was trying to redirect everyone to my old video. How about I make a new one? I hope you enjoy this one, and let me know what do you want me to film for the next time, and I'll see you next one. Peace.